I'm just going to give you a guided tour of the Thermosolar hive. So here is the board that I've taken out from underneath the hive, and you can see that there's a lot of kind of detritus here, and this is what we're looking at to check for mites. Now you can see there's a mite just there, little shiny chestnut coloured vermite, and there's some pollen that's dropped off the pollen sacs from the bees. There's a bit of this is kind of basically crystallized nectar, probably from ivy nectar. There's some wax flakes, which shows the bees are building. The reason there's this kind of bare strip down the middle is because the bees have actually built the wax right down to the bottom of the hive there. There's a vermite there. And yeah, but that all looks pretty good. There's certainly a lot of activity. We've got some cappings here of where the bees have taken the caps off the cells. But yeah, that all looks normal. I'm going to give you a guided tour of the Thermosolar hive. Obviously this is the empty one. So here we've got the roof, and inside you can see it's got a mesh top, and this is propolis. So this is where the bees have, sorry, I'm going to be headless for this video. This is where the bees have stuck the frames onto the top of the roof. So we just need to kind of scrape that off, but this is the kind of sticky resin that they use for protecting the inside of their hive. So that's the roof. This is a super, and we've got the frames. Oh, frames in here, which just slot in. And this is the frame from which the bees will build their combs. And because they store honey at the top of their nest, this top box is where they tend to store the honey, which is why it's a bit more, it's a bit shallower, because otherwise it would be too heavy. So this goes on top of where the bees nest. This is the brood box, and you'll see it's a little bit deeper. This panel on the front is a kind of just a thermal panel to keep the hive just at a higher ambient temperature, and so basically it's like sort of solar insulation. In here we've got a board at the front which just protects from the heat. It sort of buffers the bees from the direct heat coming in from the sun. And then inside here we have frames. Now I'm using standard national frames, but this is a deep hive, so I've added some bamboo sticks just to create a framework for the bees to build down underneath, because these frames are a little bit too shallow for this box here. So if you see, they ought to be coming down to about here, but you can use these frames. I'm just and I got a little bit of lollipop stick in there just so that the bees can build down from that. So you can see here, this is what the bees do once they get this a little bit of pollen left over from the colony that was in here before. So this is how the bees build down, and when we put the bees in here, they will build out this whole box. So this is called a brood box, and the frames sit in there like that. So this box faces the front, so this gets the sun and this keeps it warm. I've got this entrance open, or I can open this entrance down the bottom, but I'm keeping this one open just so it's a little bit smaller. And then this section here is the floor, and it's under here that the grower board is kept. So, and this is a tray that slides out from underneath the floor of the hive, and this is where, if there are any mites and the detritus that I just showed you in the previous hive, this is where it sits. So that's the how these hives are organised. So we've got the floor, the brood box, the super on top, and then the roof.